Welcome back, friends, to another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Lids87 here, and welcome back to another Are They Worth It video, a series that I made where I go over pros and cons of said characters to see if they are truly worth your precious tickets and or gems. And I will say this, I apologize for not bringing out the Caius Noel video. If you guys did pull for that, hopefully you are enjoying them. Work was so crazy, guys. I'm grateful I have a job, but it's been crazy. Gosh damn. So here we go. Before I get into it though, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And no, seriously, let me know how you guys did on the Noel and Caius if you guys did decide to pull for them. Me personally, I skipped out on them. I had Noel. He's just sitting there. He's gonna collect dust for quite a while. So the grind is coming. The grind is here. May 13th UTC time, which is May 12th here where I live here in the States. Ultimate Diabolos is here. Good luck with that. So if you guys really grind the heck out of this thing, you're gonna get yourselves 35,000 gems, 350 draw tickets, and 600 plus armor tokens. There's plus on there, so it's at least. That's a lot. Grind it out, guys. Grind it out. LD and burst. It's on the horizon, guys. You guys want to start saving as much as you can. Now, as you guys can see near the upper right-handish halfway point, on the right side of the screen, Wakka will be getting a rework. Aerith will not be getting a rework. And speaking of them, they are the main units of this event. They are the ones that are receiving EX pluses. Aerith's EX weapon, I believe this is the third time we're getting this thing, and Wakka, this is the very first time we are getting his EX weapon. Both of them realizable. Third wheel is going to be Deuce in the upper right hand corner with her flute that one time at band camp. Alright, anywho. Alright, so the very first character we are going to be talking about is Wakka. Wakka and his 15 CP, OG Opera Omniers. You guys remember the Wakka 15 CP off banners? Legit, if you guys skip this banner just for that sole reason alone, I don't blame you at all. I do not blame you. Just back in the day, so many 15 CP Wakka balls. It was horrible. It was bad. Let's talk about some pros about this guy. All right, this guy named Wakka. Now he does have a blind built into his first ability, and he does have a counter built into his kit. It's just a brave counter. It's a brave attack, not a brave plus HP attack. I wish it was a brave HP attack, just so he could be up there with some of our counters like Gao, what's his face, 8, a Galoof, in my opinion, one of the best ones. He absolutely despises Machina, not the actual character like Machina, like machines. You will find a Machina, brother? You know, so if you go on a date with him, you bring your cell phone, he might destroy it right in front of you. He's an excellent source of brave battery. He's a really good brave battery, and the main thing about him, buffs. This guy heavily relies on his buffs, guys, and he actually has some good party buffs. Let's talk about them. So these are the main ones you want to keep an eye on, or these are the main ones that you want to manage that he grants himself with his second ability, Great Daring. Now these are generic buffs, so if you guys see the top portion, self-generic buffs, he does grant himself 120% attack up, 100% defense, speed plus 70%, max rate plus 100%. Now the one thing to note about his second ability though, like if you're not familiar with Wakka, is there is a 57% chance that he can grant himself any of these when he uses Great Daring. There's a chance where you'll only grant yourself 2 of these. There's a chance that you'll get all 4. It's RNG based, and we'll just, I guess, talk about that in the cons section. And if you do take his EX weapon to EX plus 2 out of 3, he will grant himself all of these buffs when the quest starts, which is pretty nice. Now with his EX weapon, he does get an EX buff called Captain's Order, and what this does, it affects the party. So it's a self buff that affects the party, which in my opinion, I like those are the best, especially if you're with someone like Lightning who steals turns like there's no tomorrow, and she just burns through her own buffs. This is going to go great with her. Now what this does is this increases the party's imp rate by 30%, max rate plus 20%, attack plus 20%, and grants the party brave regen. Now, also a part of his EX weapon at EX plus 3 out of 3 though, so you gotta max this thing out. He gets a unique buff called Attack Reels. Now, it's not for him, it's only for his allies. So when you use his EX ability at 3 out of 3, there's a chance, 60% chance, that your other allies, not himself, will get this Attack Reels buff. Now what this does is this will raise said party members' attack by 40% and raise their stolen brave overflow plus 20%. Now, if my math is correct here, okay, so we're gonna add up all the total allies buffs that he gives to the party members. Some of these do affect him, but he is here mainly for the party buffs. Now this takes into consideration his crystal passives, his Captain's Orders, which is Wakka's self-frame buff, his attack wheels, which again only affects his allies. So party-wide, again, hopefully I did all my math right, is he grants the party 50% up to in Brave, which is pretty good. It's not the best, but that's not bad either. Max Brave plus 50%, attack plus 90%, defense and speed for 20%, Brave regen, and stolen overflow plus 20%. Now this is very nice because since some of these are they're either hidden via his crystal passives, or they're a part of his Captain's Orders, which is on him, or via attack reels, which is a single frame buff. You can't stack other forms of buffs on top of that said character just to further increase their efficiency, their potency, their buffs on themselves. So this will go perfectly. Now, of course, with Wakka, with all these wonderful buffs, there's some cons, just red flags. New players, beware, be aware, be aware. Now, the main thing I don't like about Wakka, I don't like this at all, is 5 of his buffs are percentage based. There's a chance for either him or the allies to get granted said buffs. Why? Just give him his buff. His self-generic buffs, 57% chance for them to take effect onto him, and this is for each buff to take hold or for him to not get him. So like I mentioned earlier, sometimes you'll get lucky, you'll get all 4. It's happened. Or sometimes, like on the JP side of the game, like I've used Wakka, I've only gotten one of the buffs, and if you don't get his attack up buff, he's gonna be hitting like a noodle. You need that attack up buff. You need it, and if you don't get it, it can be a little bit tilting. And speaking of these buffs, he cannot gain these buffs, these generic buffs, by using his EX ability. Sometimes some units with the EX ability, they'll get their buffs upon using the EX ability. The only way for him to get access to those 4 generic buffs of his is to get his EX weapon to EX plus 2 out of 3, and they're given to him at the start of the quest. He doesn't get them when he uses his EX ability. And speaking of percentage, that attack reels that affects only the allies, there's a 60% chance to take. Now that's more than half % chance that they will get them, but there's always that 40% chance that they won't get it. That's too high. Why are we still doing this? Why Opera Omnia? We're already getting screwed over with artifact passives. Have you guys been getting perfect lightning artifact passives? Because I haven't. I went through a lot. I went through a lot and I got screwed over bad. I did not get some good lightning passes, but I don't like this at all. More RNG. We don't need RNG. Leave that to when we pull for LDs and burst weapons. That's when we want good RNG, not here. Because he has a lot of self buffs, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't get his attack up buff, he's not going to be hitting hard. He really relies on his buffs, and he can have a total of 5 buffs on him, 4 generic ones and 1 unique one. So if you pair him up with someone else that gives him at least more than 1 buff, he's going to start pushing his buffs off, and then there's a good chance that you're going to push off his attack up buff. And if you're a newer player, you're going to wonder why is this guy not hitting hard? That's precisely why. Now his counter, it doesn't have an HP attack attached to it. It's just a brave attack. Whenever he evades an attack, he does counter with a brave attack, but no HP attack. If they would have just thrown that on here, I would have liked him just that much more better. And as a ranged support unit, he doesn't have HP healing built into his kit. Just massive heals to Brave, which, I mean, it's still good, but if he would have HP healing, I would have valued him just that much more. Now, if you are going to be investing into Wakka's EX weapon, his EX Plus, once you realize it and you're going to be spending ingots, why are you spending ingots? Save those for Aerith. Or if you're like a huge fan of Final Fantasy X, hey, by all means, go for it. But you want him at 3 out of 3 because his EX ability becomes AoE. He gets access to his HP attack plus. I kind of wish it was like HP attack plus. That would have been much more better in my eyes. Aerith has a better HP attack plus than Wakka. And also at EX plus 3 out of 3 is when he has that 60% chance to grant his allies attack wheels, again, which raises their attack by 40% and increases their stolen brave overflow by 20%. All right, now time to talk about, in my eyes, the gem, the main prize of this banner is Aerith, which in my opinion, at the time of this point, even like still to come, she's the best healer in the game. Hands down, she's the best healer. Why? Because she has great HP and brave healing, AoE, single target across her abilities, burst healing, mind you. So it's a massive amount of healing to the party. She can bring the dead back to life. It's going to affect your score, but you can bring dead units back to life. It's a safety net, so to say. So if you're doing excellent, someone accidentally dies, there's still a chance for you to meet that score. And she has a great Brave and HP attack plus, which she does get at her EX plus 3 out of 3. Now, some noteworthy passives is at C50, allies in Brave and defense plus 10% when HP is full. And at C68, she increases the party's in Brave and attack by 10%. Now, time to look at the goodies here, guys. Time to look at the buffs. The buffs. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to learn about. Now, she has a self-generic buff, attack plus 70% with her skill 2. She has 2 unique buffs, Cetra's Favor with her skill 2. Now, this gives her Brave regen, defense plus 50%, max Brave plus 20%, and magic attack plus 80%. Magic attack plus 80% on top of that attack plus 70%. Guys, she actually hits pretty good. She hits pretty hard, truth be told. Like, she can dish out some damage with her Brave attacks that are attached to her HP attack plus and her EX ability. Once you take it to EX plus 3 out of 3, she gets some Brave hits right before her HP attack. So with these great buffs, it's just going to benefit her that much more. Now, with her EX ability, she does get Ancient Lineage, which raises the party's attack by 50%, Stolen Brave overflow limit by 30%, which is a good amount. And at EX plus 2 out of 3, this adds on to Ancient Lineage. This will increase the party's gained Brave overflow limit by 20%. So any form of Brave healing, Brave regen, any Brave gained can overflow by an additional 20%, which is pretty nice. Now, she does have a party-wide generic buff, which is in Brave plus 60%, and that's on the better side of it. Now, if I remember correctly, Rosa has a 50% to int Brave, and Selfie has a 100% to int Brave, just to throw some numbers on there. And don't forget, if we just go back one with her noteworthy passes, you see, guys, see int Brave there, plus 10%, so that's an additional 20%, so that's 80% int Brave to the party, which now is very, very good. Now, I guess just one of the main downsides to Aerith is that she has no Brave dump with her first or second ability, which we see mainly in units that specialize in healing, like Porum or Ren. They don't have a Brave dump with their just base abilities. It's either in their EX abilities or in the form of HP attack pluses or upgraded HP attack. So I mean, that's fine, but you guys notice like how many cons I believe for her to have compared to Wakka. Like, his page was full, and honestly, like, her Brave hits, they are magic based, but I've never noticed an issue with that over on the JP side of the game. I did use her for a while. I would take her on stages where magic was resisted. She was mainly there for the healing to Brave and HP, mainly there for the buffs, and she did beautifully. Even when her Brave attacks were resisted, she still worked out fine. Okay, now if you're going to be investing in Aerith, which I actually highly recommend you do, that ingot that you were going to use for Wakka, don't use it on Wakka. Use it on Aerith. Take her to 3 out of 3, because at least 2 out of 3, EX plus 2 out of 3, her Ancient Lineage. That's when the party's gained Brave of plus 20% to the overflow gets added, and at EX plus 3 out of 3, her EX ability, it gets 3 Brave hits before the HP attack. And this is when she gets access to her HP attack plus and Brave attack plus. Now, on top of her magic attack up and her own self 70% up to attack, she's going to be hitting pretty decently for a support type character. So she does have some Brave shaving in her HP attack plus and her EX ability being at 3 out of 3. It does come in very handy. Highly recommended you take her to 3 out of 3 if you can. If you have the ingots to spare, do it. Just do it. Now, another great thing about Aerith is her bonus sphere. I like her bonus sphere. So it's a type A bonus sphere, and when HP is at least 80% of max HP, this will raise the sphere wielder's magic attack by 15%. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos, you guys know that 15% to either attack or magic attack, range, any form of physical or magic attack, at least 15%, that's very good, because usually these potencies we see like either at 10% or 5% to the party, but 15% to magic attack is really good. I would give this to a unit that specializes in magic attack, maybe like Cloud of Darkness, who should be coming out like next month. So it'll still go nicely on her, but I would prefer this on an actual magic attacker. All right, guys, now we are at that part of the video. Are they worth your precious gems and or tickets? Tickets, sure, especially if you don't have Aerith's EX weapon, throw tickets on this banner. Gems though, only Aerith is worth the pity on here. Now, Wakka, like I don't mind Wakka, but I can't recommend him especially if you're a new player. You're a new player, you're coming into the game, you're watching this video. It's like, should I pull in this banner? I love Final Fantasy X. If you love Final Fantasy X, he's gonna do great, especially if you're more familiar with the game, you understand buffs better. You can count to 5, or you can count to 6, so to say, 6 buffs, and you know how to manipulate or manage buffs to the party. He's gonna be just fine, but you have to be pretty good at it, because the moment you give Wakka more than one buff outside of his own buffs, you're gonna start pushing off his buff. You lose that attack buff, he's gonna hit like a wet noodle, plain and simple. So I cannot really recommend Wakka, especially if you are a newer player and you really don't understand how buffs work in the game. But if you are in need of a good ranged unit, ranged attacker, I know he's mainly support, but if you're in need of a really good ranged unit, wait a month. Keese is next month, and Keese is definitely worth the pity as a ranged attacker. Now Aerith, like I just said, Aerith is worth the pity. She is a great healer, and I like to say you can never have enough supports in this game. Aerith, she is really good. She's the best burst healer in the game. She has some good buffs to the party, especially with her overflow, which is gonna make your units just hit that much harder via either stolen or gain brave. She can dish out some damage of her own with her HP attack plus, and with her brave hits that are attached to her EX plus 3 out of 3. And I honestly, like, longevity, she's gonna last a while, because I used her on the JP side of the game for quite a bit, like up until like the LD and or burst era. Like, she was my main support on the JP side of the game, so maybe I do have love for her in Opera Omnia. Like, she was a great unit to me. Wakka, like, I did try him. I tried like friend supports Wakka's, like with their EX all maxed out, and I didn't feel the same like I did for Aerith. So Aerith, if you don't have her EX weapon from before, because again, this is repeating, she is worth the pities. And if you have to pity, you might pick up some Wakka EXs. Just let him sit there until when he comes back later down the line. So again, guys, Aerith, she is worth the pity. Aerith is worth it. Only if you don't have her EX weapon. If you have it, just walk away. Just walk away. Don't look at this banner. Just keep walking. Now, just like I did in my previous video, we are going to take a peek into the future, into the LD and burst era, to see when these units do repeat, just in case, if you want to skip out on them now. Now, surprisingly, Wakka, he's actually on good banners. Vaughn's LD and burst debut banner, and Cloud's LD and burst debut banner. And honestly, like, these two banners, they're pretty damn good. Like Vaughn, like both of these units, Vaughn and Cloud, for sure you want at least their LD weapons. Just they're that good. And if you are actually planning on pulling for these units down the future, then perhaps wait on Wakka until Vaughn's banner or Cloud's banner, so you can go for Wakka. Aerith, surprisingly, I only found her, besides the current Ultimate Diabolo's banner, I only found her on one other banner, and that is during Kefka's LD and burst debut banner, and he's a great debuffer. Oh man, he's really good. Kefka will repeat again with Cloud of Darkness, which should be in a month. So if you guys don't want Cloud of Darkness, you guys want to wait on Kefka, this is the banner to go on. So if you're gonna skip out on Aerith now, like, oh no, I'm okay on healers at the moment, but maybe down the line, once we get challenge stages, which, long story short, there's special stages where you can only bring synergy characters to that stage to beat it, and you will get something called a burst token. You collect 50 of these burst tokens, and you trade it in for one burst weapon of your choice. Then maybe the Kefka banner is the banner to go on for Aerith. As you guys can see, there also Shadow's on there, and Kefka's EX weapon is also on there. So if you guys are okay on healers at the moment, then this is definitely the spot to go for Aerith, because you will get an amazing debuffer in the form of Kefka. That is it for this video, friends. I want to thank you guys for watching my Are They Worth It video. Be sure to let me know down below in the comments what you guys are going to be doing with the Ultimate Diabolo's banner in regards to Wakka and or Aerith. Me personally, I already have Aerith's EX weapon. I did pull it when her EX weapon first debuted, or it might have been the second time. I forget how many times her thing already debuted, but I did pull it then because I knew I did not want Wakka, so I planned for it then. So I will be, at the moment, I do have plans to EX plus 3 out of 3 that thing. She's a great unit, guys. Like, you will not go wrong with Aerith. She's definitely a strongly recommended unit for you guys to go for. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Again, friends, let me know down below in the comments your plans. And until next time, friends, good luck and have a good one.